Hayden's our crypto guy. What does he have, like 100,000 Bitcoin right now, Cade? Is that what he's telling us?
That.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We couldn't get a Christmas bonus, but he's got 100,000 Bitcoins. My kids didn't eat, but it's fine.
Oh. So what would you say? Whose market is it right now? All right, guys, welcome to the Buff Show. Today we have a market update podcast coming your way. We got Ben and Cade here with me, and we're going over January's numbers. Today is February 17th. So these are our most recent monthly market indicators for the state of Utah. What do we got going on, guys?
Yeah, so we'll start with new listings. So
I guess before that, what about rates? What do you see in the rates on?
So I just pulled this up. Rates came out today. This is average. Like typically you're probably gonna be able to get a better rate, but this is like a very average poll. Anyway, a 30-year conventional loan, you're looking at a 6.04%. A 15-year conventional loan, you're looking at a 5.61%. And an FHA VA loan, you're looking at a 5.63%. Again, these can be up or down depending on you and your credit score, and
which
all that
is
stuff,
pretty good because I think the lowest we've seen was like a 5.99.
5.99 was
30.
And what was that? It was
a couple months
right
ago.
before December.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're not too
January.
far. We're not too far off of that.
No.
So
you're not.
that's good. A lot of people that have, me and Ben and Shelby just did a podcast on when to refinance, and that was good. I still need to get around to doing that, but there's a lot of money that can be saved if you have a higher interest rate in the 7s right now, which I think a lot of people.
From what I've been told and what I've done my numbers on, I guess, is 1%. Is that still what you guys came up with? Is that
it's about 1%.
Okay.
Yeah.
So meaning if you have a 6%, really to make it worth it, is you would want to refinance to a 5% or lower.
Actually, we didn't come up with a straight percentage. At 1%, it's kind of a no-brainer.
Okay.
But it's more of a math equation. You got to look at the time you're going to be in the house and a few other factors. And that was the biggest thing is even at a 1% interest rate, if you're planning on leaving the house in a year, it's not worth it. Or, it really comes down to your personal factors, but it's so easy for a loan officer to run the numbers with you.
Yeah.
And your personal preference is really what it comes down to.
Yeah. So there's some good opportunity out there. And then also if you're paying mortgage insurance, like check your
Appreciated
equity.
Value.
Yeah. In that, because a lot of those can be removed.
If you think if you've been in a home for 5 years, you still are paying it, get with an agent. I'm sure you can get it gone.
Yeah. Even a couple years, I would say. Market's been pretty. I mean, it's been pretty flat as of recently, but there's still been some good areas with some good appreciation.
Yeah, for sure.
Another little update that we won't go too much into. Cade's going to talk about the FinCEN.
So full dive, everything about it.
I got an email yesterday, and I didn't look much into it. I sent it to Peyton, our broker. So basically all it is if you are a buyer and you are closing cash or you're closing within a trust
or
on
an
a property or an LLC, you will have to report and record everything with this FinCEN. And I don't even know what this is. I don't know what it stands for.
Basically, the government's coming in to try to help stop corruption and money laundering.
Okay.
And in my opinion, it's just another money grab that's going to
And that's exactly the point that you need to know as a buyer is that it will require a fair amount more documents that need to be signed and reviewed, and also a fee. I don't know how much that fee will be, but it'll increase your closing costs if you are closing with cash, a trust, or an LLC.
Mm-hmm.
So to come, we're going to dive deeper into that in another podcast for sure, and really scope it out and get all the dirty deeds for you.
So we're still learning.
I think when did it start? Was it?
It starts March 1st. It goes into effect.
Is it March 1st?
Yep, March 1st.
So we got a couple more weeks. That's crazy.
Yeah. So I actually reached out to my trust guy to see if I could hurry and get my house into my personal trust because I haven't got it into there yet.
Oh,
and
shoot.
He's like, it's going to be tight, but
I didn't even think about that.
So get in there before.
Even putting your own house into your own trust, you'll have to start reporting. And I haven't dug deep, but I think you actually have to report yearly.
So it's a yearly fee?
I don't know about the fees and schedules, but it's
Dude, that's
still super new.
That's huge because I have a number of properties that I have not put into LLCs or trusts yet.
Neither have I.
But so Are you worried about the due on sale clause by putting it into your trust?
In my personal one, I'm not so much, but investment ones can get a little tricky. Really, I'm not worried about any of them that I have a 5 or higher % interest rate on. It's the ones
Right.
that have the 2.5,
See-
3%. I think that it's worth it for them to call a due on sale clause.
Yeah, and I have a number of those that I'm worried about putting it in there. We should do another podcast on
Yeah.
that. That'd be a good one.
Would be.
Sweet. Well, let's jump into it, Cade.
Sure. Okay, so we'll start with new listings. So January 2025, we had 5,029, and January of 2026, we're 4,969. So we're down 1.2% year over year. Yeah, I think it's not a drastic change. Pretty normal for this time of year.
Yep.
So, and then keep in mind, we're just going to see this number like spike up from here. Like every month that goes on from here, we're just going to see more and more listings start coming up.
Yep.
Yeah, we're
Seems
definitely
like-
getting into that early spring.
Yeah, December is the lowest, most common as far as new listings, and then January it creeps up until about June, and then we start seeing it.
Die off again.
Yeah.
Pending sales, the count of properties in which offers have been accepted in a given month. This isn't closed, these are just accepted offers. January 2025, so last year is 3,276. January 26 is 3,091. So that is a decrease in 5.6%, which still isn't a huge number to me. I mean, they've been pretty average. I mean, this is over the whole state of Utah. It is just a little bit slower, which is surprising because rates are better.
That is weird.
So
yeah,
let's talk about that a little bit. So last year was a slow year, right? There were far number of less transactions. 2024 was the lowest number of transactions since 95. I don't have the data in front of me to know if 2025 was slower than 24,
Yeah.
but we're starting out the year in 26 with less
Then 25.
pending sales, right? We don't know how many. We haven't looked at the closed ones yet, but pending sales. So we're, are we getting into a slower year even with rates down? Like that's a good point to bring up.
So it looks like 24 and 25, we had more pending sales in January, but 23 was a little bit lower than where we are now. But
Interesting.
that is weird. I don't know why we would see less pending sales when rates did their big
Drop.
move. Yeah.
Well, and I think it all depends, right? We're talking pending sales, so if
Yeah, but you would think-
rates move in the spring when everything's listed and people are out looking, you see a bigger rush.
yeah.
If rates move in January, December, these slower months, you're obviously still not going to see a big inrush of.
I was still like, because I talked.
But you
like,
hear all these.
Starting out the year, I had like a few agents do open houses that I talked to, and it was like the very first Saturday of the year, and they were open houses were packed, and it was crazy, and rates had come down. So I was feeling like we would see more activity in the month of January, pending wise, because of that push. So this
And
is kind of surprising to me.
mortgage rates are up, or not right. Mortgage
Applications.
applications are up
Right.
quite a bit.
It was like 30%
Mhm.
is what they were saying.
And so I feel like I'm wondering if, I don't know, I'm wondering if people are gearing up for it, but they're just not quite ready to pull the trigger yet.
Still sitting on the fence.
Yeah.
And see, and I'm looking at these numbers, and it's literally less than 200 homes over the entire state of Utah in
Right.
January. So
It's not that
I'm
much.
I'm still not putting a whole lot of weight on pending.
Sure.
I was still hoping to see more of like
A little bit of an
A- a
increase.
rate.
a significant increase with, because if we're saying we're similar to back in 2023, well, that was right when rates were at like 7%, 7%. So we're down a solid percent, and there's still not that much like
Right.
pull up,
Well, and it might be lagging, right? Rates come down.
It takes a
We're
little
right
minute.
in rates coming down, so
Yeah.
we might see it in February.
Yeah. Okay, closed sales. So this is account for the actual sales that close in the given month. So January of this year to January of last year, we are down 0.7%. So it's like almost exactly going back. If you look back the past 3 years, each January we've been right about where we're at. 2023 was a lot lower, but going back to 2022, we were probably about what, 500 sales higher.
Just
And-
a hair over 2015.
Yeah, 500 sales higher. So we're still quite a bit below where we were in 2022, but we're pretty in line going back the past 4 years, and we're not the lowest.
You know, it's unique looking back even to like 2015, like what Cade was saying. That's a 10-year look back or 11-year look back. Our highs obviously get higher, but our lows really haven't. Our low months really don't stagger that much. If that makes sense, we move way more within the year
That's
than
true.
we do year over year.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you're saying if you look at like 2020, that spike was like
Yeah,
huge.
but it returns almost back to that exact same number
Yeah.
year over year. But within the year, we're jumping, 3,000 almost
Right.
closed sales, and then
Mhm.
year over year, like from last year to this year, it's 17 closed sales on January.
Right.
So something cute to think about.
All right, so days on market until a sale. So this is the average number of days between when a property is listed and when an offer is accepted in a given month. So from January 2025 to January 2026, we are actually up 15.9%. So we're gone from 69 days to 80 days on market. That's a pretty big jump.
That's a huge jump.
And that's kind of on track for what we're seeing as far as closed sales, pending sales. Those are all kind of down, not much, but they are down. And so this is just kind of elaborating a little bit more on that same story that things are just a little bit slower.
goes back to 2015 numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But like at the lowest, we were like under 20 days on market in 2022. So we are quite a bit slower as far as
3 times as slow, 4
Yeah.
times as slow almost.
yeah, 4 times as
4
slow
times
as
as slow as the quickest months.
yeah, which is crazy. 80 days. I mean, that's the highest we've seen since 2015. What?
Yeah, no,
Why do you think that we're seeing? Because even in 2023 and 4, like right after rates hit 7%, like we didn't even have 80 days on market back then. We were around. Where were we at?
60-ish,
Yeah.
Mhm.
60-ish.
Well, and you have to remember we're looking at January, which is historically the slowest.
But
month.
even January on those years, we're still
yeah,
60 days. You know what I mean?
67, almost 70, but still the highest is in the wintertime. So
Yes.
on
Yeah.
average, I guess for overall, you're probably a 60-day average, even with 80 in January.
Yeah. It seems like January always is the highest days on market.
Here's something to just consider, though. Yes, quarter 4, quarter 1 is always going to be your slowest as far as number of sales, days on market. It's going to be the highest, but just keep in mind, even when you list April, May, June, you're still almost, at least according to last year, you're still almost 2 months on the market. You're still almost
Oh, yeah.
60 days. So don't anticipate, okay, I need to move by
I want to move this summer. so I'm gonna list
July.
this summer.
I'm going to
Yeah.
list in June because it's a busy time. Like you still need to give yourself 60 days to go under contract and an additional 30 days to close.
Yep.
Oh,
Would be
yeah.
a good time frame to
Yeah.
just having in your mind. It's going to take you 3 months to get your property listed to the time you're closed. So
And that's if you price appropriately.
just keep that in mind. Even during the busy time of year, if this year is anything like last year, that's what I would anticipate.
We have a house we're closing on this week. It's been about almost a year in the making that
I
we've
did-
been
yep.
trying to get it sold.
I had one close, this month. Same thing. We listed it in April last year.
Same.
So, yeah, you got one coming
Same.
up too.
Yep.
Median sales price. So this is where you take all of the houses that sold, stack them up from lowest to high, and then you start knocking off the high and lows until you hit the middle. In January 2025, 497,000. In January 2026, 505,000 for an increase of 1.4%. And I've been saying this whole day how 1% is not that big of a number when we're looking at the scale. When we're talking money, it becomes it becomes a bigger move. So 1.4% is roughly $10,000 almost, $9,000. So
Yeah.
it moves the needle quite a bit when we're basically hanging out at a $500,000 median house price.
So explain now. We got days on market up, number of listings pending sales down, number of closed sales down, median price up.
I think it's what it is it's people aren't hurting to the point they're wanting to get out of their houses. I think our economy is still strong right now.
Yeah.
And people are still making money. It's just assets are expensive.
Well,
I thought I had was maybe we're, unless you have something here,
go ahead.
maybe we're still just getting back into a more normal market. We're still appreciating, values on properties are still going up because they're still moving, but we're getting back into a more normal time frame, reverting back from 2020.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
So here's my thought. If you look back on the days on market, 2008 Great Recession, right? The average days on market, 100 days on the market. And I think that's when you saw prices really start to pull back. I think 80 days on market is still comfortable for most people to still plan and make their moves and things like that. If we get to 100 and the highest we were at was like 130 to 140 days on market, just under 150, honestly. In 2011, there was a huge spike up.
So we're saying that
So-
100-day mark is kind of where people's
I think
not
that's,
desperation, but their willingness to
Get nervous.
concede
yes,
to get out comes
yes.
in.
I think homes are still moving quick enough being 80 days on market that it's still, people feel like they don't need to drop prices in order to try and move on or move out. It, based on this data, it looks like about 100 plus days on market is where people start
Getting a little antsy,
getting
nervous.
antsy,
Yeah.
dropping prices, doing all that stuff.
Yeah. I could see that.
But you look at this chart, and since 2023, it's just been flat.
Yeah.
I guess gently going up, right? Trending up,
Mhm.
but very small
Well,
movements.
and I think there's less and more fear all at the same time in the market. Back, when 2008, 2009, social media wasn't as high and hot as it is now.
yeah,
So you start sitting for 100 days, people start panicking. They want to get whatever money they can out. But I think now at a certain point, it's not getting whatever money you can out. You just can't sell.
right.
So either you get what you need to get or you stay in your house.
I do think that's another point to make. Though, is a lot of homeowners now aren't in a situation where they have to sell
Yeah.
financially because they can't afford it
Right.
or whatever, right? So I feel like
Yeah.
you're right.
Yep.
Like a lot of people don't have to move. So they'll say, okay, we'll sit for 90
If,
days.
if I
and
can
then
get
nothing.
this, then I will. But I don't, like in 08, 09, we're not losing jobs and stuff. Knock on something.
Yeah,
As of right now,
Right.
to force people out. And that's really the only way you lower housing is the economy crashes, people lose
People have to
jobs.
people
sell.
have to
The
sell.
desperation comes in.
And when we had that economist come in and talk, he was saying like the notice of defaults and the foreclosure list, like
Basically,
it's
non-existent.
basically non-existent right
Mhm.
now. Like it's so
Yeah.
low right now. I think there are categories of properties in Utah that are in more distress than others. For example, I have clients looking for some townhomes right now,
Mm-hmm.
and the townhome market, I think what we saw like over the past 5 years especially is there was like hardly any townhomes, and then they just built a ton of complexes, and now there's a bunch of people that have bought in over the past 5 years, and now they're trying to sell. And I'm seeing a lot of these townhomes just sitting. I'm seeing people listing them for less than what they paid for them at.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it seems like that market right now is maybe oversaturated with the amount, like there's so much supply of townhomes because like the big push was more affordable housing. Townhomes seem to be the option, and now there's just a bunch.
I've
No,
seen
disagree.
exactly that. In townhomes, you appreciate slower than your average
Yeah.
single
House.
family.
Yeah.
And you'll actually see it's easier to get into desperation in a townhome, right? So if you're in $1 million home and you have to take a 20% hit to get somewhere else, that's a huge hit. You're in a $400,000 townhome and you have to take a 20% hit. It's a lot easier to walk away from $10,000, $20,000 in equity that you gained just to get out of it than it is to walk away from 200-300 grand,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you're seeing, and even taking a loss, you have younger kids that they just needed a place to live. They can afford it. Now they want to move into a house, and they can take a loss, even a $10,000 to $20,000 loss, not just an equity loss, an actual hard value loss, just to get out
Just
from that debt
Yeah.
to get into a new home.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. So my conversation with my clients was like, there is a surplus of inventory here. And I don't know. I don't know the forecast for like townhomes.
Well, and my clients up north, like we ran numbers last year when we were getting ready to list their property, and specifically in their development, they were selling for. It's an older community, but they were selling for 300 to 315, right? And this year, and I've had this conversation with another agent who has another property listed in that same unit, and she made the comment. She's like, "It's been one of the weirdest, most difficult listings I've ever had because she's like, it's literally been a race to the bottom."
Yeah.
And that's true. Like, no, unless it is a very updated unit, it's only selling for 300.
Right.
Other than that, it's selling for 270,
Yeah.
275. So those people who I pulled comps on last year, early of first quarter of last year, they're potentially 40 grand upside down.
Yeah.
You know, and that's
crazy.
a hard thing to stomach when you're, in a 2-bedroom townhome.
And you would think their parents probably were like, "Hey, just buy a cheap townhome, like keep your payments minimal." But yeah, it's crazy. But who would have guessed that,
And that's like
Yeah.
that is the one, I guess, the one thing about real estate is like I don't have an explanation for that, right? Because like I can't be like, oh, I can point to all these different factors that specifically led to this community
Yeah.
dropping in value. Like
Right.
I don't know exactly why, and I've talked with other agents, and like we're just kind of like don't really know what's going on.
I
I
think
know the
it's-
HOA has been tough, but
I think it's just a supply and demand. We in a way in certain areas, I won't say every area, like you go into Morgan and Mountain Green, like there's only a few townhomes or condos available there. And those are moving because there's not an oversupply of units.
I do think out
And-
here one issue you get is there's, like you said, there's an oversupply, but a lot of them are new builds.
Yeah.
And they're offering incentives that are insane.
Yeah.
They're just trying to get them moved.
Yeah.
And
These developers they're selling them. Yeah. That is a crazy thing too. Because when these clients reached out to me, it's like, I don't think I can find you a decent townhome for under 400. I get out there looking, and sure enough, there's a ton. Like so many that I'm like,
that 380 mark, brand new, nice area.
brand new 2-car garage, like good stuff for that price range. And they're just, I think it was a need, but I think it's going to take a minute for the demand to fill that need. Cause a lot of people still want a house. They want a yard. They want something that makes it more unique, more theirs, and not have to share walls and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right, average sales price. So we saw the exact opposite on the average sales price. We saw a decrease of 1.8%. So we went down to $602. So $676,602 in January of 2026. This curve line is a lot more jagged if you look at it. But ever since 2023, it's been trending upwards, steeper than the median, which is interesting. Like if you look at our low, we were just below 600,000, like 590 probably, and we're up 76,000. So since 2023, which is bizarre, and I think this is just for some reason, and this is my theory, is the luxury market has exploded here in Utah because a lot of people that are looking at buying a couple acres and building their dream home, they meet with builders and they look at the cost to get that final product, and the numbers are shocking. They're like $400 to $600 a square foot to build, and it's just crazy expensive. And then they look at the existing home market and they're like, oh, well, I can go buy this house in Huntsville or Morgan for $350 a foot and have the land, have a pool, have a shop,
and have money to remodel if they needed to.
Have money. It's a couple year old house, but it gets them exactly what they want. So there's like a big gap between like an existing house that was built, say 5 or 10 years ago, when prices when we didn't have the COVID
The tariffs.
the tariffs, the inflation from the government pumping so much money into, and price just haven't come down.
Or as much migration from out of state.
Yeah.
I think that's plays a big role into it too. People that are moving from these higher, like California, these bigger cities where real estate and life is just more expensive, and they move to Utah where it's still expensive in the national level, but we're not as expensive, and so they can afford more.
I'm seeing that not even in just the luxury market. I'm seeing people that used to be in that luxury high end stuff that are looking at 60s, 70s, 80s houses and willing to put $400,000 or $500,000 into a remodel, because to buy a lot and build just a newer home, they're still $200,000 or $300,000 cheaper than to buy an older home and put $300,000 to $500,000 into the older home.
That's a trap I fell into.
Yep.
Because I was looking at our house, I'm like, at 3 acres in a house for $900. I'm like, 3 acres. I'm seeing those sell for $600. So you're saying the structure's $300,000 for a 44,000 plus square foot house?
It's just not doable.
I'm like, I couldn't build that for 300,000. So you buy that, and then you
put 200,000,
200 grand into it, and you have a sweet setup.
Yep. And when the thing about that method is, you don't, if you're not too bougie, and you can move in and just live in it,
like me,
like all of us, you can save quite a bit of money up front and just kind of pay as you go.
Yeah.
Or okay, in 3 or 4 years, I have the spot, I can make it mine now.
And that was my game plan, is just get to where we wanted to be and get like the base, and then we can build upon that as we went. But we had no furnace for a while, just a wood burning stove. So
careful, that's how I burned a house down once.
All right, so this is the percent of original list price received. This is the percentage found when dividing a property's sale price by its original list price, then taking the average for all properties sold in a given month, not accounting for seller concessions. And seller concessions, like we've talked about in the past, we're still seeing roughly 1 to 2.5, maybe 3% in seller concessions being given. But anyways, so January 2025 versus January 2026, we are down 1.1%. So a home is selling for 1.1% less from its original list price.
Let's just say it's 95%. So you're 5%.
Sure.
So for every 100 grand, sellers are negotiating roughly 5 grand off of price.
Yes. Yep.
Not counting concessions.
Right.
And then you would add another 5 to 12 grand.
15,
Yeah.
15 probably, yeah.
So
just depending on the price. There's room on top of the original for concessions on almost every deal.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So when we look at like list price and everything, or what the market's doing, it's not doing as much as, like, I would say it's really truly flatlining in a way, because sellers are conceding so much on the concessions side of it, and that doesn't take into effect like the appreciation and everything on the homes.
No. And I think that's a lot to do with rates. People are buying rates down, paying closing costs, and that's really the only way. It's become a better way to lure somebody in to buy your house than it is to say, I'll give you a 10 grand discount. It's, I'll save your cash in your pocket. I'll give you 10 grand to pay for your fees.
Well, and you can always, like, what's important to most buyers is that monthly payment, right? Like, whatever the home cost is, it's irrelevant essentially, but it's what that monthly payment boils down to for most buyers. And, closing costs, 10 grand in closing costs versus 10 grand in a purchase price reduction help a buyer reduce their monthly payment more.
So we've closed one with 25 grand in closing costs, and they use that for a 2-1 buy down. And that was, buyers were stoked. And 2-1 buy downs aren't recommended unless you can truly qualify for like that higher full amount. But there are scenarios where it works out. Like, say you have a house that's a rental. I have this situation right now. Some clients have a house that's a rental, and in a few years they're going to sell it. And then they just recast their mortgage. So they're going to do a 2-1 buy down, so their payments are cheaper up front. Right. And then they'd sell that house. They bought the house forever ago. They have some equity in it. And so it's like there's not a lot of risk there for them. And then some other clients that just did a 2-1 buy down, they were going through some family changes, having a baby, The wife was no longer working for a time, and 2 years down the road, they'd be more settled, established. She could get her job back and start working again, and their finances would be in a different spot. So there are good ways to structure that to where it's like you can still buy and get into a place, but not have to be like super uncomfortable on your payments.
Yeah. Just one thing with those is just, you have to be disciplined.
Very
You can't
disciplined.
you can't get too comfortable with your current monthly payment because
You can't get stuck in la la land.
it's gonna go up.
Don't go buy a truck and a boat and all that stuff,
Yep.
thinking that payment's not changing.
Okay, fun hater. Anyways, speaking of buying a truck and a boat, housing affordability index. So I'm going to read you the definition and I'll give you the layman's term of it. This index measures the housing affordability for the region. For example, an index of 120 means the median household income is 120% of what is necessary to qualify for the median priced home under prevailing interest rates. A higher number means greater affordability. So basically at a 100% affordability index, a 100, the median household income can afford the median household home price without any other supplemented income. So right now in Utah, the median household income is 97 to 104,000. What is a median house price? 500.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you make, let's call it $100,000 even, you can purchase a $505,000 home in Utah and have it be affordable. Okay. Excuse me, I lied. If it was at 100, right now we're at 83, meaning it's not affordable. So you're going to need 17% more income than $100,000 to be able to afford a $505,000 house with rates and the median household income right now. Let's clean that up a little bit. All right. So at 100, the median household income and the median household price is affordable. You don't have to supplement your income. Right now, we are not at 100. We are at 83, so we're not very affordable. So if you're making $100,000 a year, you're going to have to make about 17% more than $100,000 a year, about 117,000 to be able to afford a $505,000 house in Utah with the prevailing interest rates.
So we're slightly more affordable
than last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. 6% more affordable.
Yeah.
So
But still,
roughly $6,000.
we're bobbing at the very
Yeah.
bottom though.
Yeah.
So rates became more affordable. That's the biggest thing that I think made it go up.
Mm-hmm.
Is rates, but man, we're still.
I mean, you look at May of 25, we were at 77, and we've just trended up, getting more affordable throughout the year.
Remember when you got into real estate, Ben, and it was like you could just buy just about anything in a cash flow.
Even in 2012 is when I started investing hard, and I actually just marked it. Your
180.
median average income, you are 180% affordable. So you could almost afford 2 median household priced homes on a median household income. And back then it was like 78,000 a year.
Oh yeah,
it's like 100,000 now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was easier.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I remember like the 1% rule when looking at rentals. Like if you were buying a $300,000 duplex, you'd want to get at least 1% of the purchase price a month in rents, which would be like $3,000 a month. And it was always like, oh, this one could do it. Let's see if we can do 1.5%. Like, find really good ones. And now, geez, you're lucky if you can find 0.5%. Like,
I just needed to be born about 10 years earlier.
It's been crazy.
Instead of going to high school, I should have been buying real estate.
Yeah,
I tell you
were
what.
we doing?
So if someone, I tell my kids, start dropping out. Tell your kids, don't stay in school. School's for fools.
Oh.
All right. Oh, I went back a page.
No, I got inventory, right?
Yep.
Okay. Inventory of homes for sale. So the number of properties available for sale in active status at the end of a given month. We are up 6.8%, so almost 7% increase. This year we're at, just under 13,000 homes available. We're going to see this number start to pick up. These kind of hump up as we go into the spring and stuff. Will probably be what, 15,000?
I wonder
Well,
if we'll hit 18 this year.
yeah, I think you're right.
I feel like we
Probably
might hit 18.
probably 18 if we're looking at it compared to last year's. And we're seeing just more and more like that chart is kind of increasing going back the past 3 or 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it just hasn't been very exciting
No.
the past 3 or 4 years. It's just been
But it's been steady.
It's been steady,
It's
but
just
you
been
look
steady.
at 2022, it was like we had no inventory and then rates shot up and then we had a bunch of inventory, but we were still under 15,000 back then. And that was at the peak in the summer. So,
Okay, tell me this, boys. For your business investing life, more inventory good or more inventory bad?
I like more inventory
Okay, why?
because, well, one, when I'm working with clients, it is so much easier. Like I would take this market any day over 2020 and 2021 because it was like you were on a hamster wheel.
Yeah.
And the clients felt that way too, where like I had buyers, we'd write 9, 10 offers and they were just like, please, somebody take my offer. And then if you found something, it was just like,
There's no negotiating.
there's no
anything.
negotiating and it might not be the house that they wanted, but it's a house they're going to have to get stuck with. And it just wasn't enjoyable. Like people were like, well, I guess this will do. And I don't like that when it comes to buying a home.
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
then as far as investing too, it's just hard. Back then when it was that crazy, like you couldn't find stuff unless you were like really in it and trying to flip stuff and turn it around really fast. It just was hard.
I think the more inventory, the better for both. I mean, it gives buyers more options. They have time to think about it. They have time to negotiate. On the seller's side, it can be a little bit harder, right? There's more competition that's
Yeah.
listed out
Yeah.
there that you have to compete against. So you have to be careful with how you structure and how you position your home. And as far as the investing, I think you have a better opportunity at finding a deal
Mm-hmm.
with more inventory on the market than you did if you had less.
Yeah. What do you think?
Inventory to me doesn't mean anything.
Trick question.
Trick question. I just made you look like fools. Surprise. No, I think for me, inventory has to directly correlate closed sales. Because if you look over month on our closed sales, we're closing 3,000 to 4,000 houses a month, give or take. And at any given point, we have 12 to 17,000 houses on the market.
Yeah.
So are we just? I guess are we just wash, rinse, and repeating? Why are we not moving these houses? Right?
Yeah.
There's always a surplus of 8,000 houses on the market over the last 12 months.
Right.
Is what I'm looking at, and so
yeah.
inventory per month, especially, doesn't really affect me or make me think about it. But it makes me wonder why is our inventory so much higher than our closed? Are that many houses just going off? We're doing three. It never proportions out, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think that's why our days of market are going up so much is you're just seeing more and more houses starting to sit. And that'll be our next one that Kate has is month supply of inventory. Because that takes what you're talking about where you have closed in your inventory and it tells you how much month supply you have sitting there.
So month supply of inventory is the inventory of homes for sale at the end of a given month divided by the average monthly pending sales from the last 12 months. So January 25, we were at 3.5. January 26, we were at 3.6. This is a 2.9% year over year change. So not a big change. But we are still talking about pending sales too. We're not necessarily talking about closed sales either.
So what this is saying is basically if we stopped putting new houses on the market right now,
You have 3.5
it'd
months.
take us 3.5 months to sell them all.
Right.
And they say anything under 6 months supply is a buyer's market. Anything over is
I think that's
or sorry,
No,
anything under is sick. And any under 6 months supply is a seller's market. Anything over 6 months supply is a buyer's market. And if you look, like let's look at 2008, like you had some months where you had 12 months supply of inventory, 2008, 9, 10, 11. And we were in that from 2007 to 2012 where we were over six months supply, even into 2014.
We touched it, yeah.
And then we dropped down and it's been low ever since. And in 2020 and 2021, we were like 1.5 month supply.
Yeah.
So it was like every month it was like cycling that fast. So I think, again, going back to the days on market, I think our days on market would have to hit 100 plus days. And then you'd see more and more homes sitting on the market, building up. There'd be a lot more inventory.
I think we redefined this one once, and we talked about how like 1 to 2 months was really a seller's market, and then like 2.5 to like 4 or 5 months is kind of a neutral market where
Yeah.
I would
prices are
almost-
fair. People are negotiating a little bit both ways.
Yeah.
And then once you crest over that, then your sellers are getting beat up quite a bit more.
Yeah.
But I think you get over 6 to 8 months of inventory. I think it's just a bad market.
Bad,
like,
yeah.
like buyers can buy, but
Yeah.
why are you buying? Obviously, something's either you saved all your cash, and
that's where you get a lot of good deals. But you have to. It's like trying to buy crypto right now. It's like the floor's falling out, and
Faden's our crypto guy. What does he have? Like 100,000 Bitcoin right now, Kate? Is that what he's
Something
telling
like
us?
that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah.
We couldn't get a Christmas
know.
bonus, but he's got 100,000 Bitcoins. My kids didn't eat, but it's fine.
Oh, so
No.
what would you say? Whose market is it right now? Buyers or
I
sellers?
think it's the same story we had last month.
Yep.
It's a
Fair
fair
market.
market. Like it's buyers are negotiating deals, and some sellers are getting 100% of their ask price, and like the home is closing in or it's going under contract in a week. But that's not very
So
often.
It's
Yeah.
nobody's market.
It's nobody's market. It's
Yeah.
very fair. At the end of the day, everybody bleeds,
Yep.
right? In
So
a fair
whoever
market.
whoever wants it less, almost.
Yep.
And that's
So-
the name of the game right there. And that will always be the way it, like whoever needs it or wants it more has less leverage.
Yep.
Yeah,
Always.
Yeah.
So
that is very true. Well, that was a good update.
Yeah, it was good.
I felt like that flowed very well. Ultimately, the market is the market, and it's we think we know what's coming, what's going on, and we don't. I feel like this market is performing different than I would have thought. I was expecting more activity, more multiple offers. I've seen that a little bit, and these guys will make fun of me because I'm like, ran into another multiple offer situation.
Yeah.
Like, and Ben's like, it's not going to be that crazy. You're getting too excited. Maybe
And I even
was.
had a multiple offer situation.
Yeah.
So
But there's weird stuff going on. Like you had a listing where it sat forever, and then out of nowhere you put under contract, and then a bunch of other people come and want it.
six offers.
Like that's weird. I had another one that was on the market for a couple weeks and got an offer below asking. We negotiated it a little bit. Then we had a full price backup offer come in as is, and then another one want to come in after that. Like it's just
It almost
It's
makes you
just
want to put a
weird.
teaser on and just change your status to under contract for a little bit.
yeah,
And just
right?
see what happens.
Yeah,
Is that legal? What are the ethics behind
yeah,
that?
that is illegal.
Yeah, okay. That is illegal. There we go. Broker's answers right there. Yeah.
But it's an interesting market. But I think it is very true. Like it's nobody's market, and there are good deals for both buyer and seller to be had
Yeah.
right now. Like buyers, I'm seeing a lot of buyers get good things right now. If out there looking, there's inventory. Rates are down, lowest they've been in a long time.
3 years.
I think what's really hard and why we can say it so easy. We say, oh yeah, buyer, the buyers are getting deals and stuff. But even with what stuff costs right now, rate wise, how much people are making, even if you get a good deal,
It still doesn't feel like it.
it's still $3, $4, $5, $6 a month.
Yeah, it still doesn't feel
still
like it.
still hurts in the chest.
Yeah,
Yeah. You're definitely not seeing, like, if I can find somebody a $2,400 monthly payment on a property,
Right.
it's the only reason that's even out there is because it's a fairly cheap property, and typically there's a really good new build incentive built
Right.
into it.
yeah.
Or
That
they
is-
just have $200,000 down.
or they have a lot of cash, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you don't see that $2,000 monthly payment number anymore. Like, it's just
I think
rare.
the average is 3,600 in Utah right now,
That's a lot.
and I've seen them $5-6 a month. Like it's pretty wild. So
Which makes sense because on a median household is 505,000. Let's call it 500 with a 5% down minimum. On a conventional, you can be 25, so you're $475,000 loan,
yeah,
which is you're you're probably 36
35.
to 38
Yeah.
on a median household.
So if somebody's wanting to sell by summer, when should they be listing? Let's say they want to be out of here by June.
3 months
Right
before they need to be on the market.
So June, we got
March.
That's crazy.
March or
Yep.
March or April is somewhat pushing it.
And that's
Yeah.
average. Some are longer than that.
Some are longer, some are quicker.
Some are quicker.
But
Yeah, and especially when we're gonna reshoot a podcast, but very very rarely are contingencies, even though they're a lot more prevalent right now. They're just hard because people don't want to accept them. So people are selling their houses, renting, and then buying just to get in and out.
Yeah.
So if you can find a place to land for a couple months, so
Or at least get your house up
Or-
and kind of figure it out. And then a lot of times you can find something within that window.
mhm.
the one thing I run into often is sellers will be like, I don't want to list my home until I'm seeing things that I like. And it's like, well, that's great. Like, I understand that, right? Like that's a big jump to list your home and hopefully and go under contract and not have a replacement property. Like, that's kind of a scary thought. But at the same time, like, if your home isn't listed and then you start seeing properties on the market that you like,
You're not going
you're not going to be able to get those ones
No,
anyways because
no.
you're too late.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like what you have to do is you have to be able to sit and look on the market and see what's on the market and just say, at this price that I'm looking to buy, are there other properties that have some of the things that I'm looking for? Land, square footage, number of beds, baths, garage, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Are there properties that are currently on the market that are having those characteristics that I'm looking for? If so,
Just take the leap.
yes, we can always, you don't have to accept a contract.
Yeah, you
right?
do.
If there's no contingencies and it's full ask prices, then you do. But how many offers are coming through like that?
My clients, get them. I don't know about your
Yeah.
clients.
But like you still have some.
But you could do it. You
Flexibility.
could do it subject to seller funding a replacement
Correct.
property. There's a bunch of things.
Yeah.
Which we got another podcast coming out on that. So there's ways around it. And we're getting snow
Oh yeah, it's
That's
actually snowing out.
Biggest
yeah.
snowstorms
all
that we've
year.
had all year, all last year.
Warm up the snowmobiles.
No, thank you.
It's time to go.
No, thank
No
you.
more golfing, Cade.
I haven't
This-
golfed in a while, anyways.
I've got a golf trip coming up.
Do you?
Mesquite.
It's actually supposed to rain.
Oh, that
That's all
sucks.
right.
I think you can golf in the rain.
I can golf
Done
in the
that.
rain. Yep, done that a time or two.
Well,
Gr-
this has been a good update. Anything else you guys want to leave with your fans and followers?
Send us any ideas or stuff you want to talk about. We'll do a podcast on it.
Yeah, I like
that's a
that.
good idea.
Let's
Yeah.
hear. I want to hear what you want to hear, and
Yeah,
I'll lie to you about it.
If you have questions,
call
send it
Cade.
in. Sure.
Okay.
Call me.
Bye, love you.